What drives a seemingly normal person to become a prepper? One day they're living in the suburbs and driving their sedans and their minivans, and then a year later, they're stockpiling food, toiletries, filtering all their water, stockpiling ammunition. They got chickens, maybe some quail in the backyard. Uh, What drives people, seemingly normal people, to go to the bank and buy $50 worth of pennies, take them home, and painstakingly separate all the 81 and below pennies because they're 95% copper? What kind of crazy person would do such a thing? That's right. And every once in a while, I'll see some other old crazy guy doing the same thing. We'll lock eyes in the bank, and he's walking out with my pennies before I get to them. What makes us preppers? What drives us to this seemingly insane compulsion, right? Well, I'm going to propose a theory today about how normies, normal people, turn into preppers. You guys ready? All right. My name's White Tango Whiskey. If you are new to the channel, welcome. This is the prepping channel for the 68%, the people living in the meaty part of that bell curve, right? A bunch of normies kind of tipping the scales towards prepper madness. That's us. We're the 68%ers. If you're one of my loyal subscribers, welcome back. You guys know that I love you with a strictly platonic, never met you, kind of don't come to my house kind of way. But yeah, I appreciate you all. So I'm going to jump right into it. What is it that turns a normal person into a prepper, a preparedness person, a prepared citizen, a doomsday, all the stuff, right? What is it that takes us from point A to point B? Well, I think for each of us, this is a theory I have, and you guys can confirm this if you want to, or not. Maybe prove me wrong. I think that for every person who is a prepper or who's getting into preparedness, that there was a red pill moment. You may recognize that metaphor, right? The red pill moment came from the movie The Matrix back in the 90s, where Morpheus offers Neo 2 pills. He says, this is the red pill, it's the truth. This is the blue pill, stay in ignorance, right? Neo takes the red pill, and he gives him 2 warnings. He says, number 1, all I'm offering you is the truth. That's number 1. Number 2, once you take this red pill, there's no going back, right? Or you could take the blue pill and stay ignorant, one of the sheeple, believe whatever you want to believe, and just, ignorance is bliss, right? I think that's true of the red pill. I really do. I think that for every prepper, there was a moment in time where they figured out that the world they thought to be true was not true. And that was a tipping point for them, right? I have a good friend of mine who I used to work with. I don't work with her anymore, but we're still good friends. And she was heavy into recycling. Like, she was all about the earth and conserving resources, and she was really enthusiastic and sincere about it, right? I am not really. So I never teased her or messed with her, but actually I did. One day, so there was this bin that she would always drop her coffee cup into, right? And the bin, it was one big bin, and it had 3 holes in it. It had the trash, it was the waste, and then recycling, and then maybe it was compost or metal. It had metal, right? So she would faithfully and religiously put her coffee cup into the to the recycling part, right? And one day, I asked her if she knew where that was going, and she said, well, it's getting recycled. So then I grabbed the lid and I lifted it up, and lo and behold, what did we see? We saw 1 trash bag. So in spite of there being 3 holes, there was only 1 trash bag. It was all going to the trash, right? And for those of you that have looked into recycling, like it's not lucrative, and a lot of it is just going straight into the trash, right? And my friend, she stared for a moment, and she had this kind of dumbfounded, kind of faith-destroying, paradigm-shifting, blank stare on her face in disbelief, and I laughed. She laughed too, but I could tell that it was a moment for her, right? She was like, "What?" I think that's a small example, but I think for a lot of us that moment comes in various forms, right? It may be something in the media that you realize that you're being lied to about, right? Or it may be something about politics or religion or the world around us, right? Something that you believed to be true and then found out that it was not true, right? Something that our parents told us that was not accurate. My parents used to tell me that if you turn the dome light on in the car, that was against the law. Someone told me that's not against the law. Whatever it may be, right? But that there's a red pill moment for everybody, and that kind of tips the scales where they begin to go, okay, well, if that's not accurate, what else is not accurate? And they begin to question the things around them, the world around them, the information that we're being fed, right? So once somebody has a red pill moment, I think they basically go through 4 stages, okay? And I'm gonna describe these 4 stages. And luckily they all begin with W's, so it's gonna be easy for us to remember. So the 4 W's, okay? Let's see if I can do this without ruining it. Okay, number 1. This is the number 1, this is the first W. We are being lied to, okay? If you look at the systems of this world, deceit is the defining thread that weaves through all of them. Think about politics. Politics is based on deception, right? Man or woman gets up, they present themselves in a light that is not accurate. They lie to us about policies, about promises, just to get into office, and then they lie some more, right? Politics, the whole facade of politics is, I think politics is idolatry at its worst and a fool's errand at its best, right? I think it's Coke and Pepsi. I think they both rot your teeth and give you diabetes, right? I don't participate. I don't believe in politics. I don't. I think it's the illusion of choice. Politicians lie to us, right? The political system, it's a farce, in my opinion. Think about the food system. The food we eat is barely food. The stuff that's in a box on a shelf, and people are slowly waking up to that fact, right? You could call these 4 W's the 4 stages of waking up. And the food we eat is not food. It says fat-free, it says healthy, it says this, it says, and it's trash. It's garbage designed to make us sick and dependent and fill us full of disease, right? Even the natural food that we eat, most of it's garbage too. The food system. Think about the medical system, right? Set up for profit, set up to keep you sick, okay? Think about the media, right? The media, the narratives that we're told, the information that we're fed. Deceit is the rule. It is the default of the system. Deceit, okay? We are being lied to. This is kind of the first stage that I think people wake up to, like, whoa. That's not true. I know that that's not true, right? I feel like C-19, like COVID was a red pill moment and kind of a waking up for a lot of people after the fact. They're like, whoa. That's not what we're being told, right? Okay, so that's the first W. The second W, kind of the second stage, right, is what lies are we being told? So you figure one thing out, you're like, wait, that's not true. Then you start looking around, you're like, what else is not true? What lies are we being told? And there are plenty. There are plenty of lies. I went through a few of the systems of this world that tend to kind of rest themselves. Their foundation is deceit. They only exist if you continue to be deceived, right? So the first W, we are being lied to. The second W is what lies are we being told? What are the things that we're being told that are not accurate? And this is really kind of a stage of skepticism that I think is good and healthy. I think you should question every piece of information that you're given. I had a friend once that I worked with who I watched him get red pilled over the course of about 2 years. We're still good friends. And he goes, what percentage of what we hear from the media do you think is just a lie? Or not even a lie, maybe inaccurate. That's a different category, right? How much of it is inaccurate? Most of it. How much of it is it a lie? I don't know. He said in the 80s, he was like black pilled, right? Maybe half, right? You start looking around and you realize that everywhere we go and everybody we talk to and all the systems, a lot of it is based on deceit, okay? So we're being lied to. What are the lies we're being told is kind of the second phase. You start to identify all the areas where that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. The food we eat, the water we drink, the environment that we put ourselves in, right? All the things that we're told are good for us are actually bad for us. And then the third kind of stage, the third W that people begin to explore is, okay, I know I'm being lied to. I figured out some areas that they're lying to me in. The third thing really is the third level. Who is lying to us? Who are the ones that are lying to us, right? And this is kind of where I think people who go through this phase and this phase end up kind of getting into politics. I remember getting into politics as I was kind of going through these phases, and I was like, I got to find out which team is not lying to me, right? Which team is not lying to me? And then slowly I realized they're both lying to me. And then I got down here. Okay, well, who is lying to me? They're all lying to you. They're both lying to me, right? We like to think that our guy or our gal, our person, our team, our color is the one that's telling the truth, and the other side is the one that... Coke and Pepsi, ladies and gentlemen, Coke and Pepsi, okay? So who is lying to us? The people in power, the people who have a vested interest in you staying ignorant, okay? The people with the wealth, with all of the assets, with the resources, the people positioning themselves to make sure they stay rich with resources and you and I stay poor without them, right? What is that, 2031 or 2030? What is it? Yeah, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Yeah, right? Who are the ones that are lying to us, right? So people kind of progress through these. I probably should have put these from the bottom up, but we're being lied to, number one. Number two, what are the lies that we're being told? And then number three, who is actually lying to us? Who are the people, organizations, or institutions behind those lies, right? And the last phase, this is kind of the next level stuff. This is where I feel like I ended up being post-political. It's like, and that's the last W. Why are they lying to us? Why are they lying to us? This one I think is the most important, because this is, once you come to an understanding of the motivations of the people who are doing all of this lying, the lies you're being told, who's doing the lying, why are they lying to you? Like all the sinister, dastardly, kind of global, this is where you start getting heavy into like some bridges that are probably too far for this audience, but you start getting into things like, you know, one world governments, one world religions, and reptilians. You know, all the bridges that are a little bit too far, you're like, no, I don't think that's, no, that can't be, that's not, there's no cabal, there's no, you know, these one, that's the scary stuff. That is the stuff that kind of sets you apart. And I think once you understand that you're being lied to, that's the tipping point. Once you understand the lies that you're being told, once you understand who is lying to you, and then lastly, you understand why those individuals, institutions, or systems are deceiving you, that, brothers and sisters, is when you're awake. Not woke, that's when you're awake. And I will tell you, once you start going down this path, that Morpheus was right. There is no going back. Once you're awake, you can never go back to sleep. That's a fact. And sometimes that's stressful. Sometimes that's, it's a heavy burden. But I think all preppers have this. I think they do. I think all preppers, to one degree or another, have gone through these phases or something very similar to it, and are at a place where they're like, yeah, I don't believe that, so I'm going to do this. You're telling me to do this, I am going to do this. You're telling me this is good, I'm going to assume it's bad, and I'm going to do that. You want me dependent on this thing, this system, or this institution? I'm going to make sure I'm not dependent on that, right? You're telling me that this piece of paper is worth something? I know that it's not, right? I know that it's not. So I'm going to instead vest my time, money, and resources in things that are valuable, in tools, in skills, in knowledge, right? I think this concept, this red pilling and these kind of 4 W's, these 4 stages, are present in one form or another in every prepper's, in our brains, man. It's what keeps us up at night, okay? So when I look at, well, I'll just give you a real world example. Let's look at AI, right? I already believe we're being lied to anyway. So anything people are telling me about AI, I'm like, I'm going to double check that. Let me get both sides of the story there. Who is lying to us? How about the people that are creating it? And that's the people and the corporations who stand to benefit the most. They're the ones kind of spinning the narrative right now. So we should be like, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's accurate, right? And then, so what lies are we being told? AI is going to be good. It's going to revolutionize. It's going to provide you don't have to work now. What it's going to do is it's going to free you up to do all the things that you love. Man, part of me is just like, I don't know about that. Sounds good. That sounds good. I like the sound of that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So what's the lie? That's the lie. Who's telling it to us? The people making and selling it, trying to boost this market, right? gather billions and billions of dollars of investment. Why are they lying to us? That's the scary part, right? That's the scary stuff. So I won't go any further. This video is right at 15 minutes. I'm trying to keep it right in this short zone here. So again, I think, what are the things that turn a seemingly normal person into a prepper, one of us? And I think for us, the 68 percenters, I think we're all at maybe one of those first couple stages. You're like, whoa, that's not true. I need to start doing something about that, right? Red pill moment. We are being lied to. What are the lies I'm being told? Who's lying to me? Why are they lying to me? Wake up. Wake up. All right. This is probably too heavy for the 68%. Maybe not. I don't know. I think this is the stuff I think about, and I think a lot of other people do too. So anyway, I'm going to close out this video before I go too far off the deep end. All right. I appreciate you all. And again, I love you, my subscribers, with a, far away stranger, like across the lake kind of way through binoculars. All right. This is Mike Tango Whiskey. I am all clear.